with you, Delaney. I remember when I met Delaney, she came up and said, I'm thinking about this movie. And I said, yes, we need this movie. So let's get started. I'm going to ask a couple of questions and then you all can join in. One of the things I really like about this movie is that the books and media attention on this is just addressing the problem over and over and over again. And I really appreciated that your movie addressed the solutions in process. Some of the things you showed about a contract and working through the contract was really helpful. When a director makes a movie like this, you know that you're editing out, or maybe you could include 2 more hours. What are the things you'd like to emphasize about this movie and maybe even add on to that?
Well, it's true. There was about 150 hours that gets whittled down to 68 minutes. And it's 3 years of filming. And the goal is that it looks super easy, but it's painful, all the things that could be included. But I really was focused on solutions. And for me, the big takeaway is having these frequent conversations, because I was always being reactive and then feeling guilty because I was getting mad. And having these conversations weekly has been transformative for us. Coming up with some guidelines, ideas about what's a good time to turn off tech, and then revisiting, the third thing about revisiting the rules or the guidelines, because that's always changing within any family. So those are really, but you hit it on the nail, it's about solutions.
One of the things I'd like to recommend everybody do is go to her website, screenagersmovie.com, because there's lots of information on it. You want to say a little something about the app that you use?
Oh, well, yeah, we have, I'm in the midst of changing data plans, but I think that one of the things I'm most passionate about, one of the family rules that's not in the film, is that we don't use our cell phones other than for directions when we're driving. And I'm a big advocate for as much that we can model in terms of you don't need to have your phone all the time during the car. So on the website has tools for that. It's a great time to talk about things. And what I get a lot, we just started screening this film a few weeks ago, and it's just such a blessing to be here. As you saw, a lot of it was filmed here. But what we get a lot is, well, we already have that rule. Like, we already allow people to use their phones. It can absolutely change. There's talking about it, why we want to do this. As a family, maybe, let's give it a chance, let's try it. And at any age, new guidelines can be put in place. In fact, I wanted to ask you a question. One thing that people have been asking me is, why is it so hard for parents to set rules? And I just wondered your take on that.
Well, I'm going to get a little technical for a second. Anytime you're rewarded for something, whether it's a gambling game you like or food that you like, your brain is used to getting a dopamine drip, a release, in anticipation of that goodie. So if you really like a certain kind of food or a gaming experience or whatever, if it's stopped, what happens is something that's called extinction surge. Like the reinforcement is extinguished and you get this surge of desire for the thing. So what happens when kids are cut off, especially if there's no warning, no conversation, no process, is they will get hugely angry. And the parents are actually afraid of saying no. And from a physiological, psychological perspective, it's not surprising. They will go through a lot of hammering, maybe for days. Do you remember when was this Andrew that went to treatment? He said it took him about 4 or 5 days. And so parents have to be ready to get a surge of emotion back. And that's why that mom that went to the therapist said really needed that support from her, because we all need to support each other if we're going to set a limit. Of course, I like the idea that you involve the teenager, you negotiate and so forth, and then there's more buy-in. But it's really important to get support from your peers. Another thing that Delaney did that I recommend all the time is, if you're going to have no screens in the car, which is on a carpool, which is really helpful, it's nice to do it as a group, because if there's one kid with the rule, no tech in the car, he is really, or she, very isolated. And there's no rule against calling other parents and saying, okay, this is the week we're all going to take the screens away at bedtime, or this is the week we're going to pull the screens from the carpool. And it's really, really important to get support, because you will get that extinction surge. Sometimes kids are afraid of, parents are afraid of their kids' emotional reactivity.
Yeah. And I've been impressed is how much when I did, because I was the one calling and checking in about, can we try just a time without screens for this play date or something, and parents were really receptive. I mean, at least all of you that have come tonight would be receptive to talking about that. I just want to say tonight is incredibly special for me. One, to have my partner Sheila, who's been working with me on this film for a long time. Laura, who's been amazing. I've had lots of questions during this whole project. But also, we are blessed to have, and I want them to stand up now, Hillary and Cosette, who had the vision to start an internet addiction rehab center before anyone else. Only